Hi there, Massy here, coach, strategist and author of 4 books now, and I'm working on a 5th. So thank you so much for joining me at my website and for this little activity I'm going to take you through creating a life master plan. And it's interesting, I was talking with a client of mine recently and they were talking about how they didn't have the social skills, telling this story, this narrative. And they were saying that, oh, my social skills aren't great because I'm not good at small talk. And I'm like, just to be clear, you don't have to be great at small talk to actually be able to socially engage with people. Because I said, look, I'm pretty much, once I've got to know someone, hi, how are you? My name's Carl. Yeah, my name's Michael. How are you doing? Great. I might just slip in about 2 or 3 minutes. So what's your life master plan? What is your life master plan? I love getting to the heart of things. I love drawing that out of people. So that's what I want to do with you over the series of these 3 parts, these 3 videos, is take you through a process to cause you to step back. And I've got some activities for you to do to help you get a little bit clear about what is my life master plan. And don't be fearful of the idea of life masterclass being this big chunky thing that takes all this time to develop. It's going through the thought process, and again, I've made it so it's not too onerous to go through. It's actually, stepping through these things and like bringing a little bit more to the surface, a little bit more clarity, a little bit more awareness. And if we don't have a plan, and this is obvious for you, if I want to get from here to there, from A to B, maybe that mountain over there, and I don't have any plan to get there. I'm maybe going to get there, maybe not going to get there. I'm maybe going to do it in an efficient way, I'm maybe going to do it in an inefficient way. And maybe there's some benefits of meandering through things. But for the most important things in my life, I really don't want to leave them to chance. And my business here in Bali is called Bali Co-Creation because I'm all about co-creating my future, and that's what I want for you, is to be a co-creator in this process. And one of the things, and I've been coaching now for about 12 years, I'm based in Bali, I've got my studio here in Bali, beautiful day outside, and I've worked with hundreds of different people over the last 12 years doing coaching, and I call myself a strategist because about 20 years, or for 20 years, I was an officer in the army, a major in the army, so 14 years in the military, and then about 5 years consulting to Olympic Games around the world, in Sydney, in Salt Lake City in America, Athens, Torino, Winter Games, and then the Asian Games in Doha, Qatar. So a lot of strategic planning, so I'm a big fan of that. So that's a big piece of the puzzle. But the other things I've done is I've studied neuro-linguistics programming, hypnotherapy, energy work like Reiki, different therapy systems and that sort of stuff. So I've got a better understanding about the relationship between our thoughts and thinking, our emotions, even quantum physics and the interrelationship with ourselves and this field of energy around us. So merging all of these parts of myself together, I've come up with the idea that it's so important to have a plan. The plan increases the probability we'll get to where we want to get to and the way we want to get to that particular thing. The other thing the plan does, and this might be a little bit more metaphysical in a sense, when I come up with a plan and I start moving in the direction, because I've got that plan, I know what are the next steps that I need to take or generally take. Because I'm moving in that direction and I've got clarity about what it is that I'm moving towards, I send this signal out to the people around me as to what it is I desire. So it's more likely that they're going to be able to contribute to me getting to where I want to because it's clear about what I'm doing. They realize, that's what you want. I actually got this great friend that you should talk to that will maybe help you do that a little bit more easily, and they've got some other ideas. So the plan allows us to break inertia of doing nothing and get moving forward. So that's the benefit of it. The other thing, and I was saying this metaphysical part, is I have a belief that when we are doing something that is in alignment with the greater part of our being, aligned with something greater than ourselves, serving something greater than ourselves. When we connect to that, and we know when we connect to it, we can feel it in our heart. When we connect to that and we start moving in that direction, and it's a clear direction that we're moving, I believe we send out a signal to the universe. And just like Paulo Coelho says in the book, The Alchemist, the world conspires to support us, or the universe conspires to support us. So me coming up with a plan and moving in that direction, breaking inertia, creating some momentum, sends a signal out to everyone around me, this is what I'm after, so they're more likely to contribute. And it sends a signal out to the universe. This is what I'm about. And then we start having synchronicities in our life. Things start connecting to us. So again, it's even going through the process of creating a plan that starts these pieces in motion. So sometimes it's not even coming up with the final plan, it's going through the process, like putting energy into it to create that. And obviously if we've got a plan, it's the difference between having a rudder on our boat moving forward and being absolutely rudderless. So what I'm going to do over the course of the few videos, and I'm going to take you through, and the activity sheets that I've got, and they're down below for you to print out. And the other thing I would say is, even though you can download those and you can print them out, and I've got spaces to fill stuff out, I actually recommend working this through a journal. And if you don't have a journal, if you don't have that special book that is you ink, you working on yourself, you're doing this personal development. If you don't have that special book, time to go out and buy it. And what I recommend is, getting that special book in and writing down the questions and answering the questions within that so that you have it forevermore. If you print the documents out that I've created and do them there, you'll get the benefit of that, but they may disappear over time. So I encourage you to actually journal on it. So the big part of this part one process that I'm going to take you through today is something that I work with all of my clients on. When I start working with them, I do want to know what it is that's most important to them, their passion and purpose. And we're going to talk about that in the second one. And then I want to get into the plan, and that's in the third piece. But before we get there, what I've found is most useful, and even listening to some of the most successful people on the planet, what a lot of them would say is, as they're creating and they're building big things, they often say, I wish I had have thought about what lifestyle I wanted and then built my business around that. Because so many people build this business, create this thing, and it becomes, larger than life. It might become a behemoth, this large thing. And then they realize, oh, my life actually sucks because this has taken over my life and it doesn't actually allow me to do the things that I'm most interested in integrating into my life. We want to have a holistic life experience. We don't want to be all work, all focus on that. We want to take care of things. And that's what I talk about in my book, The Guidebook to Authentic Success. It's saying we need to holistically look at all these things so we're not just on path and everything falls away as a result. So the activity I've got for you today is like looking at what is the ideal lifestyle that you desire. And I encourage you to look at a lifestyle maybe 2 to 5 years out in advance. Because if we look at things too close to us, we start getting a little bit stressed about how we're going to create it. So what we do is we create a little bit of space between us and that ideal lifestyle. So we might say in 2 to 5 years, the ideal lifestyle for me might look like, and it might be living in Bali. It might be having a self-business. It might be having a team of 5. It might be creating this big space. It might be working 4 days a week. It might be spending 6 months of the year in this country and 6 months of the year in this country. It might be taking 1 month off doing nothing per year. It might be every 3 to 5 years that you take 6 months off, like a sabbatical. Like, what is the lifestyle you want? And as I go broad like that, I also come in closer. So I create in my own life, I say the lifestyle I want is one where I'm getting towards maybe 4 days a week working. Like who dreamed up this 5 days a week working? I would like to create a business that works on 4 days a week. How can I create that? So I decide what I want, and then I get creative. How can I bring that into being? But if I haven't worked out what my ideal is first, then I fill all that space up with stuff. And I may fill it up with stuff that's low quality activity, that isn't actually fulfilling me, that isn't contributing to my physical and mental, emotional and spiritual well-being. So I need to build those into it. So that's the activity today. What is the ideal lifestyle for you? And I want you to look at the ideal lifestyle like on a bigger scale, so what it might look like in general, but then I want you to actually have a think about what would be the ideal lifestyle in a week. For instance, my week starts off with an activity down the beach. I go down to the beach on a Monday morning, and then I do some meditation down the beach, and then I do a planning activity at a cafe. Like, I want a lifestyle where I've got these different pieces and I've got this variety. I don't want a lifestyle where I'm in a cubicle. So part of me developing and designing my life was work out the lifestyle I want. I like to finish work at 1 p.m. on a Wednesday so I can have a Wednesday afternoon off. And I like to have that by myself. I'm in a long-term relationship with my partner. We've been together for 13 years, but I have this thing where I take off for a Wednesday afternoon by myself because I want that as part of my lifestyle. So take the time to really drop into this thing and sort of look at what would an ideal week look like for me? What would an ideal year look like for me? What would an ideal living experience look for me? And start working on that. And this is going to be the first piece of the building block that we create over the next couple of videos and the few parts that we're going to work together. If, as you go through this process, you've got any questions for me, don't hesitate to reach out. Whether that's through some social media platform or you just go into my website, contacts page, and send me an email and ask me a question, and I'll help you as best as I can work through any questions you've got. So I'd love to serve you going through this process. So I'll leave it at that so you can get away and do your activity. Have a fantastic day. Have fun doing that. Oh, the final thing I'd say is when you're doing this activity, find a place and space which feels fun and playful and light. Find a place where I'm looking out over my, balcony here, like it's open air, there's, beautiful air flowing through. Find a place where it's actually fun to do it. It might be in a park underneath a tree. It might be sitting on the beach. It might be in your favorite cafe. It might be wherever. But find somewhere fun to do this activity so that you can stay playful and light through this so it doesn't feel like work. I don't want it to feel like work. I want you to be in this creative space. Einstein talked about our imagination being one of our most powerful tools. I want you to tap into imagination over this activity and the next couple of activities that come. So, okay, that's it. I'm going to zip it, let you go about your day, do this activity, have fun with it, and I'll see you tomorrow for tomorrow's activity, part 2. Have a fantastic day and take care.